Welcome to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
Welcome to another episode of Just Minding My Business. I hope your day was amazing. And today I am happy to bring Annette Bentley Smith, who is Georgia born, and she's a children's book author of fictitious and realistic books for children's ages 0 through 12. Annette's latest book, Sam and Nell, A Horse Story, is one of 8 children's books. Annette's books are aligned around a city-to-city strategy called Get Hooked on Mrs. Ann's Book, which center on an exceptional reader experience. She is committed to continuously enhancing the reading experience of children. She wants her stories to inspire children to become creative and allow their imaginations to run as far as it will take them. Well, welcome, Annette. We are so happy that you're here and can't wait to learn about how all of this came about.
Hi, Annette.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes. So how did you get involved with writing children's books?
Well, it actually started with my first son. I have 2. One is 30, one is almost 21. He was in daycare. There was an incident that took place when he was in daycare. He and another little boy were drawing each other, and the little boy was going to color my son's face with a black crayon. And my son is very literal, so he got upset about that, and he told the little boy, "No, I'm not black, I'm brown."
I've been through that.
So when I picked him up that day, he was so upset. I thought it was funny, but he didn't think it was funny. And the only way that I could calm him down was to tell him that I'm pecan tan. So that incident always stayed with me. And, when he got a little older, I was able to explain to him what really was behind that, explain to him what race is and skin tone and color and, all of that. And so for years, that incident stayed with me. And I just decided to write a book about it. And here's the thing. The book just went live on Amazon last week. And my son is 30.
Congratulations. Wow. All righty.
Wow.
I was I went through a lot of changes, because it's hard to break into, trying to become an author through the brick and mortar type publishers.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Amazon came out with Create Space and made it very easy for self-publishers to publish their own books, then, I got on board with that, but went through a lot of, illustrators that I wasn't happy with, and it went through a lot of editing, but anyway.
The stuff.
Right.
So what's the name of this book? Is that the one that we talked about in the opening? Or is this a different title?
This one also, I will have two books that has gone live at one time. Sam and Nell, A Horse Story, is actually centered around my granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad used to take care of horses, and he would take her to work with him. And there was a horse there named Sam, and he took to her. And I was there one day and was able to watch the interaction between Sam and my granddaughter. And of course, my mind being as imaginative as it is, with MC, and that took place almost 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat on that and finally released it last week. And it's a poetic story of, the relationship between the two of them, and how horses can help children, especially with behavioral issues and trust and things like that. So, yeah.
Excellent story. I like to read that. Yes.
Yes. I want to step back a little bit of the other book with your son, because I went through a similar situation. Somebody called my son black, and he got all upset. He's like, I am not black, I am brown, because they literally look at it like crayons at that age. And he didn't understand what that meant. So in your book, how do you talk about that? And what's the name of that book?
It's called What Color Am I?
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
That makes it simple.
Yeah, What Color Am I? And right here you see the colors of me, crayons.
Yeah.
These people don't know that Crayola has multicultural crayons that features the colors of skin.
Huh.
So in the book, the dilemma comes up, and the teacher hands them, markers and crayons to use, and show them how to mix the colors to come up with their own skin tone.
Oh,
okay. They were able to, work out their, the dilemma and help each other figure out the colors, of their skin.
Wow.
That's a beautiful book.
Yes.
Oh my.
Really beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Because I think all children go through that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't understand race. They just see colors, crayons.
Right.
That's what they see, crayons. And when black, they like, oh no, I'm not black. Or even Caucasian kids, they not white. They are opaque sometimes, or sometimes they're a little bit darker depending on what kind of pigmentation they have in their skin. And they all take offense when you call them a color that they don't believe they are.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's interesting. I like that book. I got a couple great grands, so I'm gonna have to pick that book up.
I would love to give that to myself. Yes, I have a couple of great nieces, as a matter of fact, who that would be lovely for. In fact, it sounds like a really good book that you might want to introduce to your local school system.
Yes.
I'm just saying. I'm thinking this.
Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, this would be an awesome book for young readers. Oh my goodness, help them work through some of those things that they come into contact with when they first start really becoming aware of race and differences.
Yes.
Like in kindergarten through first, when it becomes really pronounced. What an awesome tool. Just saying, I'm not suggesting anything, but I'm just saying, I think
I know.
School systems would be lovely with that.
Are brewing here.
I'm going to work on that. I need to.
Yes, because that's important. Because I think every kid has gone through that color thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think every kid has gone through that.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of that. I've been reading a lot of that on social media, which is why I decided to really bring it out this time.
Okay.
Where, you have the most beautiful kids that are, really, really dark as far as skin tone, and they're bullied. So I've read a lot of stories about that, and how they turn that into a positive. So I said,
Yes.
This is the time to bring it out.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. And make them feel beautiful about whatever skin tone they are. Because, like I told my son when he was younger, it was like, okay, it's like flowers. You wouldn't want to see the same color flower.
Right.
The beauty of it is the different species of flowers, the different colors. That's what makes it beautiful, because everybody's all different shades, you know, and the kids can relate to that. And we live in a predominantly Caucasian neighborhood, so that went over well with them as well as my son, because they understood, okay, flowers are different colors, so are people.
That's right. I like that analogy.
So tell us a little bit about your other publications. Since you got 8 books, we got a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, I will go through them pretty quickly. My granddaughter is the inspiration behind a lot of my books. One of them is called Divorce Through the Eyes of a Child.
Oh, how fabulous.
Dear Mama and Dad. And unfortunately, my granddaughter is the product of a divorce. And it saddened me. It saddens me because kids think it's their fault when their parents divorce. Mm-hmm. So it's actually a poetic letter to parents from a child's point of view, and trying to figure out if it's their fault and encouraging them to become friends, for their sake. So it's Divorce Through the Eyes of a Child, Dear Mama and Dad.
Oh,
special, yeah.
And then I thought I had them, but I have, I have one of them. This is actually a set. It's called To Granddad with Love from Me. And the other book, which I don't have with me, I'm sorry, is for the grandmother. And it's the same thing. And what's ironic is my granddaughter, she has 2 nanas. So she has two grandparents, 2 granddads, and 2 grandmothers. So I hung the number 2 off the word to give it a double meaning to let kids.
Okay. No one's left out.
This is a letter to grandparents, and because she has 2 grandparents, and it's just a letter as well, and it's taking you from birth to when she gets married. Yeah, it's
I'm loving the basis of your books.
Mm-hmm.
It's like real life stuff, at an age, in a language that younger kids can understand, and it starts to get them really thinking about life in a different light at an early age.
Oh,
right.
I like that too. Yes, it's unique.
Yes, it's very unique.
Thank you. The other one is one we mentioned earlier, Naira's Bully.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you see the word bully scratched out, and underneath it is friend.
Oh.
And this book is actually in some libraries. It was read by a guy who dresses as a puppy, and he reads the stories on YouTube. So this is actually on Roku, and it's read by him all over the world. And this actually happened. I mean, the story that's written is not the actual story, but a friend of mine, little girl, about 2-3 years ago, when she was in the 1st grade, she was lured into the bathroom by a 5th grader and was beaten, jumped on.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So I wanted to give her, I guess you could say, I was trying to find, give her something positive out of a bad situation.
Mhm.
And so in the book, I don't want to tell what it's all about, but the bully actually gets help. And
Mhm.
that's what I want people to understand, that bullies are people too, and there's something going on within them that makes them do what they do. You know? So within the story, it talks about what happened and how she was able to turn the bully into a friend, which promotes forgiveness.
Wow. That is something. I mean, even as an adult, some of us don't have that skill of forgiving.
That's right.
And to be able to introduce that to children early is huge.
Hmm.
It's really huge.
Your ability to forgive can change the course of your life.
Yes.
And many, many adults, those books are not just good for children, they're good for adults, because that particular thought is powerful. Many adults have carried grudges and resentments for the rest of their lives for something that happened 30 years ago.
Right.
So as parents are reading these, as adults, teachers are reading these books, it's going to sort of like pinch them. I can tell that already. It's going to be a pinch.
Yes.
Consciousness, so to
Yes.
speak. I
And
really like the work that you're doing.
I do too. I am
I'm
like,
so excited that you responded and that you decided that you could do this. I remember how nervous you were. You're doing fabulously, by the way.
yes,
Your
you.
work absolutely demands being made known.
Oh, yes. I
Many
mean,
people probably have never heard of your books, and this is one way for them to get to know about them and start seeking them out. And
yes.
Ida's going to ask you how, so I'll let you, Ida, ask you how people can get hold of your books.
Yes. How can they get a hold of them?
Well, they are on Amazon. You will also the final two books are just kind of, I say, playful books. This one is The Miserable Life of Tack, the aluminum can. This is hilarious, which teaches recycling.
Okay.
And an aluminum can ends up falling in the road. He ends up in a doctor's office, and telling the doctor how he was bought by this little boy. The little boy didn't care anything about recycling. He just throws him down once he gulps the contents of the can, and it just goes from being bought from the store to being recycled. And he's telling this story to a psychologist.
Okay. I like that.
I do too. Awesome.
And the other one is The Best Sleepover in the Deep Blue Sea. So this is just basically what it is, a sleepover, having a sleep, helping kids to really use their imagination. And it's about kids having a sleepover in the ocean, under the sea, and befriending a lot of the sea creatures, in the ocean.
I'm liking that.
But all of these books are on Amazon. And I also have a website, Mrs. Annie's Books, MrsAnnieBooks.com.
Awesome. I don't know. I'm feeling some kind of way right now. And it's
joyful.
This has
really
been
joyful.
Huge, how you present all of these important issues to kids at a level that they can understand. And also, as parents read these books to their kids, they also got to think. So it sort of engages the child and the parent and gets both audiences thinking.
Yes.
So
I appreciate the titles. I'm with Ida. Really appreciate the work you're doing and the fact that it deals with real life situations. It's things that children come up against, Divorce is rampant. So yes, there are many children who will really appreciate that book because it's going to touch them where they live. And I haven't read it yet. Would like to. It's going to touch them where they live and give them that hope and understanding that it's not their fault. Because like you said, so many children of divorce assume automatically that when their parents divorce, it is something that they've done. I don't know why children do that, but it's, I guess, part of human nature. When you see your parents at odds, something has to have caused it. Am I to blame? That's the first question. So that's an excellent piece of work. And again, I'm hoping that there are teachers and educators listening to this who think, I would love to have those books in my school. And now we know that they can go to MrsAnnieBooks.com,
Yes.
or they can go to Amazon and look for Mrs. Annie Books. That's awesome.
That is more than awesome. I am
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just grateful that God chose you to do this,
Mm-hmm.
because it is so needed. Any type of expression of supporting other people at any level is important, especially in today's world where there's so much doom and gloom, I call it. And to have that light that you're shining upon these kids is just huge. And I want to thank you for what you're doing, because it is definitely, I'm sure it's making a difference in a lot of kids' lives that read it. For sure.
Well, can I share something else that I'm working on as far as the books are concerned?
Yes,
please.
Absolutely.
Well, I read an article. I was inspired by an article that I read from this guy who he took bed sheets, for kids who are not able to, who are hospitalized, they can't get out of bed and go play or go play games or whatever. Well, he put the games on sheets, like checkerboards and things like that. So after I read that article, I was like, ding, 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 ding. Why not have sheet tails? That's the name of it. My project is called Sheet Tales, and what I am going to do is have my books printed on sheets.
Oh, fabulous.
Wow, that is awesome.
Oh, my goodness.
Like the kids, Shriner Kids, what's the other hospital?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
St. Jude's?
The way it's going to work is like, for instance, I would take a twin sheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
The illustration will be printed on the sheet. Then I would take another sheet. It will be cut up into like pages and sewn onto that bottom sheet, and the words will be printed on there like a book.
Right.
So they will read.
How cool is that?
Book and then lift that sheet flap and be able to see the illustration. And so that way, if they're in bed, instead of having their cell phone or their laptop or the TV, reading is fundamental. They'll have that sheet with them and that book with them in bed, and then that's cuddle time for parents, to have that, to cuddle with the sheet and be able to, read the story. And then I will put little pockets on the side of the sheet where they can put an extra book on each side.
Oh,
that's so nice.
That's so wonderful. Oh my goodness, I can't wait.
We're working on it. I actually have a GoFundMe trying so that I can make the first prototype. I want to be able to also add my voice reading that story to them.
Awesome.
Somehow, I don't know. It's coming to me, but I would like to be, the reader, or because sometimes parents are busy, parents are working, and kids want to be read to sleep, and I want to be that positive alternative for parents. They just click the button on the sheet or however it comes out, and I read that story to them.
Wow.
Nice.
You are definitely full of imagination. This is just, wow. I can't wait. I am glad we met because I'm definitely going to be following your work and supporting you and getting that work out because it's important and our children need it. Children of all over the world need what you have.
Yes.
For sure.
Valuable messages.
So that's an awesome idea. On a sheet. That's awesome. I remember when they came out with the talking books, the ones that you push stuff and it make noise or stuff pop out. I remember when now you coming up with the sheet. That's too. Wow, that's over the top.
And it's doable. If you imagined it, then it's doable. It's doable.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll look forward to seeing it, and so now you just have all kinds of people that hopefully different people are listening and they're thinking, I want to talk to you. I want to meet this woman because there's such a latitude. You have the school systems. Yes. You have children's hospitals. You have hospitals that have special pediatric wards who might enjoy your work just in their pediatric wards. You just never know. Psychologists, oh my goodness, social workers who work, predominantly with children. Your books are talking to things that in a way that children can hear it. The one on Sam and Mel, I have a friend, she has a horse ranch, and that's what she specializes in. She specializes in working with children as well as adults who have special needs. And she talks about in training with a horse happens, and that a horse will choose you, and they will. That connection is, for lack of a better word, is magical.
Yes.
You could say therapeutic and all the rest of it, but basically it's magical what can happen.
Yes.
So your message is just powerful. Your messages are powerful.
And already there's a connect for that book and who Ruth. So it's on, lady.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes, you're. If you jump into the saddle, be ready for the ride.
Oh, yeah.
You're ready.
And then
hang on.
You have fed us, and my mind is going a mile a minute here.
Wow.
So, again, how can our audience connect with your awesome books?
My website, mrsanniebooks.com, and they can LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn under Mrs. Annie Books. I'm on Facebook as Annette Smith. I'm on Instagram as Mrs. Annie Books. I'm on Twitter.
Wonderful.
Same thing, Mrs. Annie Books. And then, of course, they can find the books on Amazon as well under Annette Bentley Smith.
Wow. We really enjoyed this. I'm all smiling. I can't even break the smile at this point. It made me happy.
Yes, very, very much so. A lot of joy in what you're doing.
Yes, it is. And I'm like, anybody that has little ones, they need to be running to get these books because it sounds like these books are a lot of fun. I mean, just listening to the titles, I'm already engaged.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Very much so.
I needed to hear that.
Yes.
What you're doing is sensational. And like I said, it's unique, it's needed, and what you're doing is just bringing a phenomenal amount of actually hope and joy. That's what I get from what you're doing, hope and joy.
Yes.
And I can't imagine what it would mean to a child who is, let's say, in St. Jude's or in the Shriners hospitals, to receive something like that, like your sheets, and to the parents, what a delight to take their mind off what they're going through, even if it's for a little while. That just makes such a difference when you can refocus out of that place that you're in, but you can look at something that says, there's something good, there's something bright, there's something wonderful. There is something wonderful. You know, I just love what you're doing.
I know.
Mrs.
I know.
Annie Bentley Smith.
Yes. So we got that. And now it is on Miss Annie Smith.
Yep.
It is on.
Yes.
So get ready.
Mrs. Annie, because that's my author name for the kids. You know, I don't expect them to call me Annette or Miss Smith, or I said, just call me Mrs. Annie.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh.
I like that it's warm for the kids.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we thank you so much for bringing your books to our audience, and because I'm sure a lot of people have not even heard of what you're doing, because I know I hadn't. So now I'm going to be, advocating for your books to be in some of the schools, and we'll definitely talk further about how we can support you in getting your product to where it needs to be. So absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much again for having me.
Absolutely.
Word on the street says there's something new at Just Minding My Business Media. You've heard our podcast, Just Minding My Business Radio, that brings news and views you can use. That airs every Thursday at 6 p.m. on iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and Spreaker. Well, now you can watch Just Minding My Business. That's right, Just Minding My Business Media now has a TV presence on Raven International TV Network, broadcast on Roku, Fire, and Apple TV. Your business, through Just Minding My Business Media, has exposure on internet radio, major social media platforms, and now TV, through Just Minding My Business dynamic digital marketing platform. Don't listen to the word on the street. Hear it for yourself. Visit jmmb.asistercircle.org to learn how you can take your business, your vision, to the next level.
Thank you to the amazing women of A Sister Circle Empowerment Network, ASCEN LLC, and our media partners. Let Just Minding My Business Media promote your business. For information, visit us at jmmb.asistercircle.org. That's jmmb.asistercircle.org. Voiceovers by RCH VoiceWorks. For when you want to be heard. Call 443-620-4115.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.